Welcome, everyone, to Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Reardon, and I'll be your coach this evening. So on Fridays, what I like to do is to either have an interview or to talk about current news. And oh boy, have we had a large amount of news come out this past week, the last 2 weeks, right? And I'm going to do my best to be able to relay some of that information out to you. And I do have a blog post coming out in the next few weeks or maybe a month or so, where it helps you identify how to get good news, right? News that is going to inform you correctly, right? Instead of misinforming you, is going to inform you correctly. So if you're new, welcome. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all those wonderful things that videos love. And let's get into it. So we are going to be talking about all the major news sources. So we have CNN, ABC, Washington Post, New York Times, etc. Right? We have those mainstream medias that we're going to be talking about. But we are also going to be talking about some less known media sources, right? Because we want to get a different angle. And that's the point when you should be searching for your news, to get a different angle, to make an educated assumption, right? Because you might not know it's fact yet, right? It's going to be what you believe, maybe your opinion. And we are living in a world or living in a society now where our opinion needs to be someone else's opinion. And I'm going to be working on some other shows or some video series to bring you. And those are going to be pre-recorded about opinion, about what society is doing wrong. And one of those video series is going to be very harsh, tough love. And one is going to be politically correct, right? Very sweet. And if you don't know, Coaching in Session is done live. So you are more than welcome to jump in chat and say, hello, how are you doing? Or to ask any questions. So that's what Coaching in Session is. So if you are, again, new, and you want to catch a Coaching in Session episode, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So let's get into mainstream media, and let's head over to CNN first, because that is a pretty big news network, right? So CNN, this is just their front page. We only do front page news for what's going on in the world. Now, I'm sure we can find something in politics, business world, etc. But we're going to see what CNN wants us to see. So if I was a regular Joe and I said, okay, I'm going to go to CNN to get my news. So I type in CNN.com and I'm going to go get some news. So let's see what they're trying to tell me. Breaking news. A group of unvaccinated workers argued that the mandate violated their religious liberty rights. And what I do when I read these articles, I say, is this important? Yes or no, right? And it might be important to you, but it might not be important to you. Does this pertain to you? And I'm a mindset coach. So I work primarily with how you think about a scenario, a situation. So when it comes to news and politics, how you view what the news is telling you is going to tell you more about yourself than the news itself. So let's get into the next one, right? So the FDA authorizes Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for children 5 to 11. Okay. At least 89% of vaccinated American adults will qualify for the booster shot. Whoop-de-doo. So Beijing races to contain new outbreak as the Olympics loom. Okay, thanks. Vaccination offers better protection than previous infection. Okay. 22-year-old dies from COVID-19 weeks after giving birth. Okay. And that's because they're doing a pregnancy push, because many pregnant women are deciding not to get the COVID-19 vaccine. So they're basically saying, well, guess what? This 22-year-old just died of COVID after giving birth, right? And we can read the article and we can figure out what really went on. but this is just a fear tactic, right? So there's some good news in there too. I'm not going to say CNN is full of BS, because they are, but sometimes they have something positive, right? And as a mindset coach, I can see both sides of the street. So here we have a group of people are saying that their religious liberty rights are being violated. So what does that mean? For people who are for this, they're going to say, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that. That's unconstitutional. For people who are with the mandates, they say good riddance, maybe, right? It's just an example. And right here for the children 5 to 11, this might be really good for those parents. Like, this might be good news for parents who are having fears, right? These are going to be parents that are just utterly afraid of COVID-19. Like, it's the boogeyman or Michael Myers. They are afraid of COVID-19, so they're going to make sure their kids are protected. Their children are protected. So that's going to be good news for parents who believe that their kids need this. Now, for the parents who believe their kids don't need this vaccine, then it's going to be like, I can't believe there's parents stupid enough to make their children get this vaccine, right? There's no studies. The CDC, I believe, said that we don't have enough information, or it might have been the FDA, says we don't have enough information on the side effects for children, but we are going to find that out, right? Similar to what Johnson & Johnson did when they took out the vaccine. They took out the vaccine because they said, we don't know the side effects. And once they found out the side effects, whether it be blood clots, any type of other ailment, once they knew that, they were like, okay, well, we can start back, because now we can just put it on the label saying, these are the possible outcomes. So that's kind of sketchy, I guess. But maybe, for someone who, again, is afraid of COVID, they're going to want this, right? Especially for the booster, for the next one right here. We have a booster shot coming up. Oh, man. Hallelujah. So now for people who are no longer protected, they can get a booster to be even more protected. Then we talk about the Olympics, because that was a big deal, and whether we'll have Olympics or won't have Olympics, et cetera, et cetera. So that's happening. And then basically they're doing, for the next one, CDC, for the vaccination protection, they're talking about that the vaccine is going to protect you better than previous infections, because there's a video of the Pfizer scientist who comes out and says that if you have the antibodies from a previous infection, that you're going to be well off also. So the CDC has to come out and saying, hey, even though a Pfizer scientist came out and said this, you need to listen to us, right? And I don't think I can find that video quick enough to make it worth our while. But if I can, it'll be a great video to watch. And I'm going to say no. It's somewhere. But it's on my page on Twitter if you want to peruse it. So let's go over onto this side. So much of the U.S. Europe will not be treated to a view of the Northern Lights this weekend. Okay, maybe I should be sad. Joe Biden is surrounded by her family, deep roots in Italy, as she returns to the Eternal City. Okay, that should be Biden, but it's her. Not a problem. Another one of Trump's 10 heads for the exit. Okay. So they're just talking about who was on his panel, who was on his team. And then we have some money stuff, right? So Will Ferrell turned down the job, Warren Buffett, et cetera, et cetera. Like, they have a lot of news, right? And most of this stuff is going to be just dry news that gives you some information. But right here, this breaking news stuff, that's what we want to look at when we're looking at news. We want to say, okay, well, what do I need to know? And it's mostly COVID-19 stuff. So if you're into COVID-19 and you're a big fan of COVID-19 and vaccines and boosters, this would be the place for you, right? You feel right at home here. And it has actually good positive things for the people who are for the mandate, for the vaccine. This is definitely a channel for you, CNN. Let's head over to NBC. So on NBC, we have a nice poster, right? So someone did art class, stop mandatory vaccines. Okay, so I call the shots. No jabs or jobs. No jabs or jobs. Okay, whatever. So Supreme Court declines to block vaccine mandate for healthcare workers in Maine. Okay. I love Maine, right? Maine is one of my favorite places to visit. Whitewater rafting, the people there are amazing. The food there is good, right? Like you're not going to be out in Maine, right? You're not going to say, "Oh, there's nothing to do." There's so much to do in Maine, whether it be adventuring or just enjoying the weather and the scenery and the people. Amazing in Maine. So let's get to the first little headline. So COVID vaccine provides a stronger immunity than past infections. So this is basically what CNN said. Then this is an opinion piece right here. So is Biden's vaccine mandate unconstitutional? Eye roll, right? So I'm not sure what the eye roll means. Maybe I'll have to read it. But if I guess it'll be 50-50. Maybe the eye roll saying unconstitutional freedom, similar to what Biden did in the CNN news broadcast he did. He was like talking about freedom, come on, man, or whatever. I think that's going to be similar. And what's not in Biden's 1.75 trillion plan? Okay, so we're talking Austin Powers, Dr. Evil numbers now. And this could be good for you to understand what your money's being spent on, what is being wasted on, whatever your view is. And here we go. To judge accused of racist, sexist marks is ordered removed. Okay. Maybe that might pertain to you, right? But where's the positive things, right? Like, again, if you're for the vaccine, this might be positive for you, right? But let's talk about positive. Like, where is like the boy saves a dog or a dog saves like a baby or something? Where's that? It should be front page news. But the news is not meant to promote such happiness, because that happiness is not going to keep you there. Because you're going to click the news, CNN, everything looks good. NBC, everything looks good. I don't have to read anything. Everything looks good. And you keep on going. And as long as everything looks good, you don't have to worry. And if you don't have to worry, you don't have to fear. And if you don't have to fear, you won't click and you won't watch. So mainstream medias are going to want to have you there. They want you to click and they want you to be a part of their rhetoric. So again, we have like the Queen Elizabeth thing right here. We have a Biden administration considering payments for migrants. Okay. Now they're talking about having like a sedative dosed for execution, I guess killing people. I'm not sure what that's about. Let's get into the big stuff, because this stuff right here is good stuff too. 2 adults charged with assaulting minor, like negative. Puerto Rico successful negative. I mean positive for COVID, lovers. Prosecutors urge prison for maybe positive. I don't know. I have to read it. So firefighters threaten state senators' staff over vaccine mandate while on duty. All right, drama. Okay, this is drama. And I understand we have to fight for our freedoms, fight for our rights. But then for you, if you're not a firefighter, why are you going to read it? Right? Unless you're like a journalist or something and you want to stay informed, especially if you live in New York. You probably want to stay informed about what's going on, because if you call 911 and no one's coming, you need to know that. So that's going to be more related to people who are going to be in New York. Now, overwhelming evidence in sex crime Case against former New York governor. Sure, maybe you want to know that. Army dad returns. See, this is the good stuff here. This is the good stuff, right? Surprises the son at a football game, right? Hugging, excited, positive, right? What does that do to the mind? It creates positivity, right? We understand that when you're positive, you're more motivated. When you're more motivated, you get things done at a quicker pace and at a more efficient pace. So when we're bogged down by all this negativity, all this drama, we actually become less efficient. We need more stuff like this. So good job, ABC, for putting out this trending video on your page. Okay, so again, more COVID stuff. And then right here is going to be just more politics stuff, right? You probably don't even need to read this. But this right here, I would definitely give this a click. Let's head over to Fox News. Okay. So anti-Trump group that imploded in Grace claims responsibility for planting actors at Republican rally. So there's a lot of drama behind January 6th, Republican rallies, Trump's president, like Trump being president, the election fraud, et cetera, right? It's a lot of drama. And Fox is talking about what's not being talked about. So CNN, NBC, ABC, those are going to be like your people who are trying to push an agenda, right? So take the vaccine. This is what's going on in the government. Biden kissed the baby, et cetera, et cetera. Fox News is going to be like, the mandates are unconstitutional and you shouldn't take any shots. If they require you to lose your job, take them to court. Biden touches babies, whatever, right? Like they're going to be talking about that. All of this stuff might be good. But as we can see, it is drama. So this right here saying, oh, look, someone got out of a truck at an Amazon. But if we look at this guy, I don't want to click it. I can actually just zoom in because I know how to use a computer, sort of. So let's get over to, here we go. Okay. Can we see this gentleman? Can we see? Okay. So I think he still has a mask on, right? He has a hat on, a mask on, and he has his vest on and everything. That's her arm, it's not his pants, right? And she's getting out, but she doesn't have any. Does she have shoes on? I don't know. She might have shoes. They might be like clear shoes, but questionable practices. They might be thinking that they're doing something naughty. Well, are they? I don't think so, because who in the heck is going to put on a hat after they were naughty? I mean, you're going to be pretty warm at that point. So that hat should be off. So guess what? You should be reinstated. All right. But guess what? Amazon is a company and they have to uphold whatever's going on. So this is out. So yeah, she shouldn't be in the truck. Work violation, most likely. It could be unsafe. If a package fell on her, she got hurt, it could be a lawsuit. So yeah, it does look bad. But this poor young man, he's going to be out of a job now, and he might have just been helping this lady figure out if her package was on this truck. Who knows? And all of this other stuff. So star dies, like a celebrity dies unexpectedly. Ooh, wonder what that could be. And then, so of course, I'm sure if I read it, they might say COVID complications or something. And it's just going to be more stuff, right? So more drama, more drama, more drama, more drama. Where's the good stuff? Where's the good stuff at? Nope, no good stuff. And this one right here might be a good, like, oh, that was a cute story, but still not good enough for me. So let's move on. Let's head over to Infowars.com, Alex Jones. So Alex Jones, he is going to be your radio host. He talks about a lot of things people are afraid to talk about, and a lot of people dislike his mannerisms, his ways, but he's a great guy, and he is actually on point most of the time. So here we get news that is going to be popular, right? And it's going to be talking about things that are not talked about on the mainstream media. So again, this is about another death, right? And this is after he had a COVID jab. So if you put 1 and 2 together, if he took the second jab, then why did he die, right? And similar to Colin Powell when he had COVID, but he was fully vaccinated. And they're saying that he died from COVID complications. And I remember I had put this out on Twitter. I said, that is so strange how he had all these other ailments, cancer and other things like that, but he still gets counted for the COVID death, right? Just because he had COVID, but he was fully vaccinated. So isn't there like I think it was like 84 to 92, I think is the percent, but it could be up to 96% survivability if you're fully vaccinated, and he was. So COVID shouldn't have been the case for him to have passed away, but that's what they did, right? So now the numbers are inflated, whether it be true or false. And so that and that's important to understand, right? Put 1 and 2 together. And this was the other day when the stock market had went down, but the reason why the stock market was in a frenzy was because the quarter is ending or has ended, and then all the big companies are putting out their profits or losses for the quarter. So now people are like, oh my God, this is that. So this could be, just talking about that loss, et cetera, et cetera. And then they have some videos and stuff like that. But yeah, so all this stuff is going to be stuff they want you to click. But again, I'm a mindset coach. So I'm looking at what's going to be positive, and I'm trying to figure out if I find anything. We need a little bit of slice of life, and the only person who has done that so far is ABC, and the only reason they did that was because it was trending. So I haven't seen anything positive quite yet on InfoWars. But let's head over to New York Times. Anything positive you see? Biden meets with Pope. No thanks. I don't need to know that. Sheriff says he charged Cuomo without coordinating with Albany DA. No thanks. I don't care about that. I don't live in New York. FDA clears. So this is the big news right here, really. What people are talking about. Now children can have from 5 to 11 the COVID vaccine. So again, really good for people who are looking for, to make sure their children are safe from COVID. Really good for those, for those individuals. But for parents who are not interested in having those types of vaccines, in their children or for their children, they're going to protest, especially if they try to mandate it for children. The next thing you'll know is that they're going to be mandating the vaccine for children to go to school. And that's going to be big news. Big news coming up. So yes, all this stuff. So this was also something big because Facebook has been going down, but now Zuckerberg came out with his metaverse thing. This is all finance at this point, and SPAC deals, et cetera, right? Like a lot of stuff. This is just the Washington Post. Democrats race to finalize the $1.75 trillion spending bill for the House. Okay, we know about that. We learned about it already. Do I need to know it? Probably, because I need to know where my money is going or where I don't want my money to go. Big news again right over here. The COVID vaccine, for the children. Big news. It's going to be big news, and it's going to be even bigger controversy in the coming weeks. Supreme Court won't block the vaccine. We already talked about it. After devastating wildfire, California community faced another crisis. This is going to be your fear mongering, your clickbait. And even though it does have some truth, How is this positive, right? Like, let's turn this title around for a second and make it a little bit more positive. After a devastating wildfire, a California community comes together to face the crisis of the traumas they dealt with. Okay, so I just literally spun the title saying how they come together. Now they're saying they're facing another crisis and the community is devastated, right? We don't need that. That's going to just bring them down even more. How can we lift people up? That's what we need to start figuring out. How can we lift people up? So that was basically the news, right? A lot of COVID, a lot of like the spending, stock market, etc. It's difficult when you have all this news and you have to figure out what is going to be good for you, right? You have to figure out, okay, this news is going to be beneficial for me. This news is just going to be controversy. This news is just drama. Because again, mainstream media, what they want or what they need is for you to keep on watching. So if they can keep you hooked, whether they say, stay tuned because we're going to break down the 1.75, Biden administration plan, this is something you need to know. Oh, I guess I need to know it. So I'm going to stay tuned. And you watch all the commercials, all the ads, and guess what? You're there for them to say the next segment, don't leave because COVID just got worse. Stay tuned. COVID got worse. No, I can't do this. And then you're freaking out. So all the people who are having a hard time with finding news, finding media that's going to be positive, finding news media that's going to be uplifting and informative. For that, I say you have to do your research. And again, I do have a blog coming out where it does break down how to find the right news for you. And you might like a person more than someone else, right? You might like the reporters on CNN more than you like the reporters on Fox. And again, this is your opinion, right? And no reporter is going to, hate you because you favor another reporter over someone else. It's just because that's you, right? Let's say you drive a Toyota. And I think Toyotas are terrible. They're terrible cars. And you say, no, Toyotas are great cars. And I say, no, you need a Honda. Hondas are better cars than Toyota. And you go, no, I have had a Toyota for over 50 years and they never let me down. Well, you know what? I had a Toyota or I had a Honda for 45 years and it never let me down, et cetera, et cetera. Like you can make an argument for what you're vying for. So that's just going to be reporters, right? They're for a news station, so they're going to be talking about the rhetoric for that news station. So do adjust yourself to understand what you're looking for. If you're looking for more COVID news, you could probably get that anywhere, right? But if you're looking for positive COVID news, like we beat the mandate, then Fox is probably going to be what you're looking for, right? You might be looking at InfoWars for that too, right? We beat the mandate. We beat January 6th, the insurrection, whatever. We found out that the election was stolen, et cetera, right? Like you can go to those news networks versus if you went to like NBC, ABC, CNN, they'll say they stole the election after they say we stole the election, right? Something like that, right? So they just kind of flip it around. What do you want, right? What type of mindset do you want? Because if you know what type of mindset you want, then guess what? Go after it. People are so unhappy in the world because they're listening to all this drama, all this fear, and they don't know how to get out of it. Because they feel if they stop listening to the news, they're going to be uninformed. In reality, you're becoming misinformed. There's no reason for you to be afraid because you watch a news network. If you watch a news network, it's to help prepare you, to give you knowledge, to inform you, not make you afraid. In news that does that and doesn't focus on the positive, you have to start to reassess if you want to be a part of that community. because you want to feel good. You want positive. And that community should make things positive for you. So, all in all, mainstream media, News Friday, a lot going on. We're going to be picking up next week, Monday, for our blog. And we're going to be having some interviews starting next week. So it's going to be a good week full of stuff. The workshop coming out, we'll probably do a mindset workshop about leadership because that's going to be important coming up in November into December. So we're going to be talking about that. So let's start off nice and strong. If you haven't, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that videos love. And I will see everyone again next week, Monday.